Hi there, this is Thomas Eugene Schussler III, and today we're going to go through the Henzie Toolbox Torre Streets of New Capenna Commander deck. Uh, the Streets of New Capenna had 5 commander decks. Not sure if I'm saying Capenna right, but that's how we're going to say it. Had 5 commander decks, and me and my brother both played with the other 4. We both had 2 of them, and we took on the other 2 together. I am not going to have time due to various things. I'm just not going to have time to actually play this deck. So I just ripped it open, and we're going to go through it real quick. I've sleeved most of these cards. I didn't sleeve the lands because I never sleeve my lands, but I have sleeved them, but I haven't actually looked at what they are. I was just mindlessly sleeving the cards. So we're going to go through it together real quick. So I apologize for not having the time to actually play this deck. But I just don't have the time for it, so that kind of sucks. But anyway, in the deck you'll get of course your commander, and you'll get one of these stock card commanders, kind of the thicker like pure cardboard thing that comes in these commander decks. You'll get a regular card too, but you also get one of the spiffy ones. You got your mana rocks here. You'll get a couple mana rocks. You know, Soul Ring, pretty standard in these commander decks. You got your basic lands. Swamp, forest, mountain, basic lands, you know the deal. And you get one of these, Riveteer's out Overlook. And this is pretty much an Evolving Wilds that automatically sacks when you play it to go get a swamp, a mountain, or forest, and you gain 1 life. It's you got a bunch of these type of things in these new Capenna decks. And then you got a bunch of dual lands and multi-purpose lands. A whole shitload of them. So, you got your... They've been adding a lot of these to these commander decks. Command Tower, of course, pretty standard in these commander decks. So just as far as land and mana rock and all that, your standard stuff that you can expect from these commander decks. You also got these tokens. So it looks like you're going to have a bunch of oozes that you can play in this deck, apparently. And there's a treasure, some plants. Apparently, there's a shit ton of treasures, I guess. Maybe he's going to be heavy on treasures. Anyway, I forgot to go over what his ability is. So this commander, he cost a swamp, a forest, a mountain, and a forest. He's a 3/3 devil rogue with each creature spell you cast with mana value 4 or greater has blitz. And the blitz cost is equal to its mana cost. And blitz is, you can play it for the blitz cost, and it has haste. And then at the end of the turn, you sack it, and when this creature dies, you draw a card. That's what the blitz cost is. And the blitz cost you pay costs 1 less for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. So there's at least an advantage to casting them multiple times. It actually does something for you, but I don't know. That ability doesn't look very appealing to me. Maybe this deck will utilize it in some way, but we'll find out. Let's see. So you've got your Death Reap Ritual. It's a 2 swamp and a forest. It's an enchantment with Morbid. And at the beginning of each end step, if a creature died this turn, you may draw a card. So when you're blitzing all of your guys, you'll be drawing a card when they die, and then you'll be drawing a card when they die from that. So that actually utilizes his ability, so that's pretty cool. Bellowing Mauler, 4 in a swamp. It's a 4/6 org. At the beginning of your end step, each player loses 4 life unless they sacrifice a creature. Protection Racket, it's 2 in a swamp. It's an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, repeat the following process for each opponent in turn order. Reveal the top card of your library. That player may pay life equal to that card's mana value. If they do, exile that card. Otherwise, put it into your hand. That kind of sucks. Wave of Rats, 3 in a swamp. It's a 4/2 rat with trample. And when it dies, if it dealt combat damage to a player this turn, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. It blitz for 4 in a swamp. That's a pretty cool card. Go in my rat deck. Industrial Advancement, 3 and a mountain. It's an enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is that creature's mana value. You may put a card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Wait, hold on. It doesn't have to be a specific power or anything like that. Just any creature? Huh, okay. That's pretty neat. Mezio Mugger, 4 and a mountain. When it attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. You may play those cards this turn. And you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. You can blitz it for 2 and a mountain. It's a 3/3 Fashino Rogue. Reign of Riches, 3 and 2 mountains. It's an enchantment. When Reign of Riches enters the battlefield, create 2 treasure tokens. The first spell you cast each turn that mana from a treasure was spent to cast has Cascade. That's pretty cool. That's a cool one there. I like that. Don't understand how it connects to the commander, but okay. Turf War, 4 and a mountain. When Turf War enters the battlefield, for each player, put a contested counter on target land that player controls. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player, if that player controls 1 or more lands with contested counters on them, that creature's controller gains control of one of those lands of their choice and untaps it. You're kind of a funky one. That's a weird one there, man. Caldula Guardian. 3 in a forest. It's a 4/3 human. Whenever it or another creature you control with mana value 4 or greater dies, create 2 1/1 green and white citizen creature tokens, and it blitzes for 2 in a forest. Dodgy Jalopy. 2 and a forest. It's a star 5 artifact vehicle with trample. And its power is equal to the highest mana value among creatures you control. It crews for 3 and it's got scavenge 2 and a forest. Exile this card from your graveyard. Put a number of 1/1 counters equal to this card's power on target creatures. Scavenge only as a sorcery. You're kind of a nifty one. I like you. First Responder, 3 in a forest. It's a 3/3 org with vigilance. At the beginning of your end step, you may return another creature you control to its owner's hand, then put a number of 1/1 counters equal to that creature's power on Fist Responder. So you actually utilize this guy's ability because you'll be able to, rather than sacking the guy at the end of the turn, you'll put him back into your hand. But then you don't get to draw the card for the blitz. Okay. Well, at least you kind of utilize his ability. Next of Kin. 2 in a forest. It's an enchantment creature. When enchanted creature dies, it's an enchant creature. When enchanted creature dies, you may put a creature card you own with lesser mana value from your hand or from the command zone onto the battlefield. If you do, return next of kin to the battlefield attached to that creature at the beginning of the next end step. You're fucking cool. I like this thing. This thing was neat. Grim Gorger. 2, a swamp and a forest. It's a 3/3 horror with menace. When it attacks, exile up to 1 card of each card type from defending player's graveyard. Put a 1/1 counter on Grim Gorger for each card exiled this way. You're kind of cool. Jolene the Plunder Queen. 2, a mountain and a forest. Whenever a player attacks one or more of your opponents, that attacking player creates a treasure token. If you would create 1 or more treasure tokens, instead create those tokens plus an additional treasure token. Sacrifice 5 treasures. Put a 1/1 counter. Now put 5 1/1 counters on Jolene. You'd make a cool commander. Why weren't you the commander? Oh, because you're only 2 colors instead of 3. Okay. Tamir Sabertooth, 2 and 2 forest. It's a 4/3 cat. 1 in a forest. You may return another creature you control to its owner's hand. If you do, Tamir Sabertooth gains indestructible until end of turn. So you might as well do that if you're going to blitz them, because otherwise they're going to die anyway. Gotcha. Rampant Growth. 1 in a forest. Search your library for a basic land card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped. Pretty standard stuff for Magic. You've probably seen Rampant Growth before. Overgrown Battlement. 1 in a forest. It's a 0/4 wall with Defender. Tap, add 1 forest for each creature with Defender you control. That's a cool one. Migration Path. 3 in a forest. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Put them onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle, cycle 2. It's got a lot of... Here's another one. Kadama's Reach. 2 in a forest. It's a sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Reveal those cards. Put one card onto the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand, then shuffle. You got an awful lot of ramp there, guy, but I don't understand why you have so much ramp. You're not a ramp, dude. So I'll never say no to ramp. I just don't know why it's got so much ramp. Indrek Stomp Hauler. 4 in a forest. It's a 4/4 beast, and when it enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Garuk's Uprising. 2 and a forest. It's an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. Creatures you control have trample, and whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Another piece of ramp, Farseek, 1 in a forest. Search your library for a plains, island, swamp, or mountain card. Put it onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle. Explore, more ramp. 1 in a forest. It's a sorcery. You may play an additional land this turn. Draw a card. Victimize. 2 and a swamp. Choose 2 target creature cards in your graveyard. Sacrifice a creature. If you do, return those cards to the battlefield tapped. That's pretty cool. That's a good one. Artisan of Kozliak? Ooh. What are you? You cost fucking 9? It's a 10/9 Eldrazi with Annihilator 2. Ooh. When you cast this spell, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Damn, dude. You're pretty cool. I like that one. Riveter's Charm. A swamp, a mountain, and a forest. Choose 1. It's an instant. Target opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker they control with the highest mana value among creatures and planeswalkers they control. Exile the top 3 cards of your library until your next end step. You may play those cards this turn. And exile target player's graveyard. Choose one of those. This is a good one. I like this card. Glittering Stockpile. 2 and a mountain. It's an artifact treasure. Tap it to add a mountain to your mana pool and put a stash counter on Glittering Stockpile. Then you can also tap it and sack it to add X mana of any one color to your mana pool, where X is the number of Glittering Stockpile stash counters on it. That's a really cool one. I like that. The Beamtown Bullies. 1, a swamp, a forest, and a mountain. It's a 4/4 Commander Org Devil with Vigilance and Haste. Tap. Target opponent whose turn it is puts target non-legendary creature card from your graveyard onto the battlefield under their control. It gains haste. Goad it. The beginning of the next end step, exile it. You're kind of a neat one. It'd be completely worthless if it didn't do that goad, but the goading thing makes it pretty interesting. You're kind of a neat one there, guy. You'd make a better commander than the actual commander we're dealing with here, dude. Swap them out. Make that guy your commander. Terminate. Swamp in a mountain. Destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. Yeah, I'm seeing... So I saw some good stuff, but I'm still not impressed with this guy's ability. We still got more. There's more coming. We got another... This is the last of it right here, but... So far, I'm not impressed with the actual deck. It doesn't look like it melds together very good. It doesn't look like it'd be a powerful deck. But there's some good stuff in here, but I'm not liking the actual deck. Maybe it plays better than what I'm thinking it does based off of what I'm seeing, but I'm not seeing a good playing deck here, man. Noxious Gearhulk, 4 and 2 swamps. It's a 5/4 artifact construct with menace, and when it enters the battlefield, you may destroy another target creature. If a creature is destroyed this way, you gain life equal to its toughness. That's fucked up. Painful Truths, 2 in a swamp. You draw X, it's a sorcery. You draw X cards and you lose X life, where X is the number of colors of mana spent to cast this spell. Blasphemous Act, 8 in a mountain. It's a sorcery that costs 1 less for each creature on the battlefield, and it deals 13 damage to each creature. That's a bad one. I don't like that one. Chaos Warp, 2 in a mountain. It's an instant. The owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library, then reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent card, they put it on to the battlefield. This guy's a badass. Atali, Primal Storm, 4 and 2 mountains. It's a 6/6 commander dinosaur. And when it attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. Then you may cast any number of spells from among those cards without paying their mana cost. I was playing a commander game one time. There was 5 people in this game. One guy was playing this as his commander. So there's 4 other people at the table. He's attacking with it. So 4 people have to reveal the top cards of their decks. 3 times in a row, every single card revealed was a land. So he's going to be able to cast spells for free, and there are lands 3 times in a row with 4 other players, man. It was fucked up, man. It's funny shit. Inferno Titan, 4 and 2 mountains. It's a 6/6 giant with pay a mountain. Inferno Titan gets +1/+0 until end of turn, and whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, it deals 3 damage divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 targets. That's fucking cool. Stalking Vengeance, 5 and 2 mountains. It's a 5/5 avatar with haste. And whenever another creature you control dies, it deals damage equal to its power to target player or planeswalker. See, this combo is really good off of our commander here. That one really combos off him good. Warstorm Surge, 5 in a mountain. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. That's another damn good one. Gotta put that in my Animar deck. Avenger of Zendikar, 5 and 2 forest. It's a 5/5 elemental. When it enters the battlefield, create a 0/1 green plant creature token for each land you control. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a 1/1 counter on each plant creature you control. This guy's a badass. He's got to go in my my Azusa deck. I think I have this guy. I might have this guy. I got to check on that, but he's definitely going in an Azusa deck. Still not seeing how a lot of these cards combo off the commander. There's a couple of them, but Evolutionary Leap, 1 in a forest. It's an enchantment. You pay a forest and sack a creature. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So you don't... But then you still have to pay to play the creature. I can understand how you combo good off the Blitz thing because your creature's going to die at the end of the turn anyway, so you can do that. So I get that. But other than that, you kind of suck. I don't like you. Giant Aidphage. We're going to go with that. 5 and 2 forest. It's a 7/7 insect with trample. When it deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of it. Holy shit. You're kind of a badass. I like you. I like that guy. Green Warden of Marasa. 4 and 2 forest. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target card from your graveyard to your hand. When it dies, you may exile it. If you do, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Life's Legacy. This is a good one. 1 in a forest. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. Draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power. That's a good one. I like it. Mitotic. We're going to go with Mitotic Slime. 4 in a forest. It's a 4/4 ooze. When it dies, create 2 2/2 green ooze creature tokens. They have, when this creature dies, create 2 1/1 green ooze creature tokens. So it just keeps splitting itself up. That's pretty cool. This is a cool one. I like that guy. He's pretty nifty. Thragtusk, 4 in a forest. When Thragtusk enters the battlefield, you gain 5 life. When it leaves the battlefield, create a 3/3 green beast creature token. So 5/3 beast. Tree Shaker Chimera for 5 and 2 forest. It's an 8/5 Chimera, shockingly enough. All creatures able to block it do so, and when it dies, you draw 3 cards. Woodfall Primus, 5 and 3 forest. It's a 6/6 tree folk with trample. When it enters the battlefield, destroy non-creature permanent, and it's got persist. So when it dies, you bring it back with a -1/-1 counter on it if it didn't already have a -1/-1 counter on it. Huh. Which means when it enters, it'll destroy something again. That's a pretty cool one. World Shaper, 3 and a forest. It's a 3/3 merfolk, and when it attacks, you may mill 3 cards. And when it dies, return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Crush the Bloodbraid. I've got this guy, different version of him, but he'd make a good commander. I thought about making a commander deck with him, but he got put on the back burner for some other commanders I got coming up. He's a 3/3 commander human. Whenever another creature dies, you may put X/1/1 counters on Crush the Bloodbraided, where X is that creature's power. It's not a creature you control. It's any creature, man. So that's pretty cool. That's a bad motherfucker, dude. Windgrace's Judgment. 3, a swamp and a forest. It's an instant. For any number of opponents, destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. Lifecrafter's Bestiary. It's an artifact that costs 3. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1. And whenever you cast a creature spell, you may pay a forest. If you do, draw a card. Solemn Simulacrum. We're going to go with that. It's a 2/2 artifact golem that costs 4 to play. And when it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. And when it dies, you draw a card. A lot of ramp in this deck, man. Riveteer's Confluence. 2, a swamp, a mountain, and a forest. It's a sorcery. Choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. It deals 1 damage to each creature and planeswalker you don't control. Or you may put a land card from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield tapped. You're kind of a neat one. Weathered Sentinels. It's a 2/5 artifact wall that costs 3 to play. Defender, Vigilance, Reach, and Trample? Holy fuck, dude. Whenever it can attack players who attacked you during their last turn as though it didn't have Defender. Oh, that's cool. Whenever it attacks, it gets +3/+3 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Dude, this thing's a bad fucker, dude. You're going in my Animar deck, dude. That's a cool one. I liked that. That was real nifty, man. Aether Snap, 3 and 2 swamps. It's a sorcery. Remove all counters from all permanents and exile all tokens. Holy fuck. That one's lame. I don't like that sort of thing. Deathbringer Regent, 5 and 2 swamps. It's a 5/6 dragon with flying. And when it enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, and if there are 5 or more other creatures on the battlefield, destroy all of the creatures. Holy shit. What an asshole. And Disciple of Bolas, 3 in a swamp. It's a 2/1 human wizard. And when it enters the battlefield, sacrifice another creature. You gain X life and draw X cards where X is that creature's power. And that's it. So that's what you get in Henzie. Sometimes decks play different than you think they would when you play them, but based off of what I'm looking at, I'm not impressed with the deck. Playing it, it doesn't look like it'd play all that good, but there was some good stuff in there. So if you're looking to buy it just for the stuff in there, there's some good stuff in there. It's worth the price of admission for what you got in there. I think this was what, $15? I can't remember what it was. I think it was like $15. So no, that's not right. No, this was like $40, I think. I honestly can't keep track of this shit, man. But there's some good stuff in there. So if you're looking, if you think it's worth it to buy it for what it costs, then go for it. I thought there was some good stuff in here, but if you're one of those people that's looking to buy it because you buy like pre-con decks and you just kind of spruce them up a little bit and you play the pre-con decks, and so you're looking to buy a pre-con deck to play it, I don't recommend this one for playing. It doesn't look like it play very good, but there was some good stuff in there. So, but yeah, I'm not impressed with the deck part of it. So, well, that's my thoughts anyway. So that's our Henzie Streets of New Capenna Commander deck. Again, I apologize I couldn't actually play it. I would have loved to, but I'm just not going to have the time. So, apologies for that, but I make do the best I can with what I got. I'm just some clown on YouTube. I got an actual job I got to work outside of this. So maybe one day I'll have like 15 subscribers, and then I'll start to make some real money, man. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I guess I'll see you next time.